personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I will be your captain for today's flight. And today's flight will take us again on a trip from Jersey with the Fenix Airbus A320 to Ireland. This time not to Dublin, but to Northern Ireland, to the city of Belfast. This is almost a real-world flight, I believe, or actually, I think it actually is. But we're using our own flight number and everything. We're using real-world time and real-world weather, Aerosoft Simple Traffic Tool, GSX, and hopefully, hopefully we'll get there in one piece. The en route flight time should be around 1 hour 21 minutes, I believe. So let's just get in. So we're standing here parked at one of the gates. They do not have airways or jetways, so we'll just use the stairs for boarding and deboarding. Well, deboarding actually we'll see, but here at least we'll use the stairs. So let's get on in. Let's start everything up. So Airbus, I got a little bit of a taste of the Airbus FMC or the MCDU when we've been flying a couple of flights with the MD-11, which basically has a sort of a Airbus style CDU. So yeah, we'll see how things are gonna go down. Let's first start up the aircraft. External power is available, so we'll turn on both the batteries and then we'll get our external power. There's some fire checks, engine fire checks and APU fire checks that you can do. I might do them later. Some other streams. But for now very good too. Alright, fuel pumps we don't have to open just yet. Crew, oxygen supply and the ground control we do. And set the strobe to auto and the nav light to 1. Get some overhead integrated lights. We arm the emergency exit lights. So the aircraft slowly coming to life. Let's see, we may need to re-import. There you go. So Echo Golf Alpha Charlie. And let it loud. Okay, step by 1 second. Alright, so here we are then, the Airbus A320. I'm thinking by the time we arrive, sun probably is set for, or has almost set. So maybe we should just get things going. What do you think? So, let's see, ATSU, AOC menu, and flight init, request. We should have some lights here as well, integrated lights, the intake lights. And okay, we'll look at the squawk code later. So, we got Air Lingus 812, we got Air Lingus livery. So we're using the nice livery again, the old school, vintage livery of Air Lingus. Looks really cool. Let's get the boarding started in the meantime. We don't have to wait for the passengers to finish. So request boarding.
Boarding requested.
And British Midland. Check out OFT. Cost index 40. Cruising altitude 370 looks like. Costa next 40, cruising 370. My simulator wants to work with me. Okay. So 40.
Do you want to board crew?
I do.
Crew bus is coming.
Thank you. Let's get the wind request. So the flight plan is in here now, but we do need our departure and our arrival. So departures, we'll find routing and impact. And where is that? Runway 26, we got the SKERY 3 Alpha departure.
Pilot's boarding starting.
So runway 26. SKERY 3 Alpha. Okay, so now it's waiting for us to open the aft cargo. So I'm never sure now which airplane opens automatically, but this one doesn't. So then we do it. Fenix, ground services, and aft and forward cargo. There's the crew arriving. Look at that. So we go back to the OFP. And then our arrival, runway 04. And that's a direct, there is no arrival route. So runway 04. Let's insert this first. And then for our arrival, that should be arrival ILS 04, I believe it was an ILS, they have ILS there, 04, and that's everything, so we insert it. Then we'll check the entire routing and see if there's any discontinuities. There's one after MAGEE. And I changed the flight plan, so let me unload this one, import a new one. So, no, doesn't have to be favorite. Import from SimBrief. Just to be sure, I'm not sure, maybe I actually did load it. But I think I did. So, and we go find our arrival. Our approach chart, not the arrival chart, but the approach chart. So runway 04, and the BLS DME runway 04. So we'll use that one, that's ours. So the arrival route, taking us up to a certain point. Or in our case, there's no arrival. So it is basically after MAGEE. So where is MAGEE? Let's maybe actually just look at the entire route.
Hello.
So there's MAGEE. And Belfast City, that's our airport, runway 04.
Welcome on board.
So MAGEE is a little bit far out, so what do you think? Like we have all the way to the north of the airport. There is no arrival route, so we would be vectored. I would think.
Hello.
So what we can do, we remove MAGEE. So the flight plan goes to ABSUN, and then after ABSUN.
Hello. May I see your boarding pass?
We'll see what waypoints we could have. Have a look at that. So Delta 217 November. I'm not sure about the designation, that looks a little bit funny. We'll do this in the, here we go, this is the initial approach fix, Delta 217 November. So, I guess that's okay. I don't think we need, I think we can just hook them up. So we just delete MAGEE, so clear, or MAGEE, not MAGEE. MAGEE can go. And the discontinuity, can we do that as well? Only one go, looks like it, and this is what we insert to the flight plan. And then, well, the aircraft is still acquiring positions, 1 minute left. Actually, there it comes, just now. So we go to the plan page. ABSUN.
Hello.
Basically, already what we're looking at is looking perfect. I believe we are able to set a fix here as well. This does not have a fix page, the A320. So on the A320, what you do, you basically can go to basically just any waypoint, and then go to fix info, and that gets you to a fix page. Not sure if there's another way to get there, but this is the one I know.
This way, please.
So reference fix, I believe you type it in, the format would be Echo Golf Alpha Charlie
This way.
04.
May I see your
There it goes, it's recognized, and then the radio and the radius. So you want the line out of the beginning of the runway to come to us. We are headed 037, so the line should be headed opposite, which is 217. So the radio will be 217 degrees.
Welcome on board.
217.
This way, please. Good evening.
That will be the radio.
May I see your boarding pass?
Then the radius.
This way, please.
The glide slope will start take us down
Welcome on board.
from 2,000 feet and 6.1 nautical miles from India Hotel Bravo Delta.
Good evening.
And just to check for sure, India Hotel Bravo Delta. That is in fact our runway identifier, India Hotel Bravo Delta.
This way,
So how much was it? 6.1? 6.1. I'm not sure the Airbus, I don't think it likes the decimal. 6.1. It says 6. I guess it's okay. So let's zoom out a little bit more. There is a little ring, and there is our extended runway center line. So we come up to ABSUN, we'll take a right turn, we can immediately turn on the localizer,
Passengers bus is
and that
coming.
should work. So basically we already pretty much believed ourselves for the approach. See, actually, we should be able to open the door. My mouse is being weird again, so stand by 1 second. There you go. Look at that, there's passengers in their seats. How cute is that? Well, that's very cute, Arkady. Ready for action, open, 1 left. What the hell does that mean? Oh, so maybe they closed the door
Passengers boarding starting.
before after the first batch of passengers, I guess. Alright, we just carry on. So we basically, yeah, we set up a radio. Not sure, can we also add 15? No, we cannot add 15 here, so what, we need a second page for that? I would talk a little bit. So let's just keep it at 6 for now. And this we can ignore. Something to do with my controller, I think. Okay, so we've got the entire flight plan in here. There's no more, should be no more discontinuities. And you can obviously also go to your plan page and just go through the entire thing.
Good evening.
So flight plan, take it to the top.
Good evening.
Just get a good angle. That's always a challenge in a simulator, isn't it? So where are the arrow keys? Here is our screen. Here's the arrow keys.
Good evening.
And then we can see the entire flight plan. To the Dublin VOR, NEVRI, ABSUN, and there's our airport. Okay.
Welcome on board. Hello.
So that's officially enough about that. Secondary flight plan. We can copy the active. You may remember in the last video we were playing around a little bit with that.
Hello.
Do we have like alternate airport?
Good evening.
That would be Manchester, Echo Golf, Charlie Charlie. Not sure how to go about this, so I think I'm just going to skip it. For now, it's copied. We can say copy the active flight plan. That has an init and a perf. That's actually it, doesn't it?
Hello.
Let's check init.
Welcome on board. This way.
We can change around some things here. Well, let's not do that. So we're just going to skip it. So the RedNav page should auto-populate itself. And finally we will get to the init B page. You need to click to the right though. Then we get our numbers from somewhere. And where will we get them from, Arkady? Well, that's a very good question. So let's go to ATSU and AOC. And then there should be the received messages button. So we click it and then you get your load sheet. So in our case we got the load sheet. Boarding has been completed, by the way. Load sheet preliminary. So this is just the preliminary load sheet, but we should actually, now that boarding has been completed, get the final load sheet as well. We can accept for now. Actually, I'm hoping and expecting to see a new entry there. Let's have a look outside. So the doors are still open, the air stairs are still connected, and the doors, the forward and aft cargo doors also open. So maybe then we just deal with that first, and then hopefully in the meantime the final load sheet will arrive. So we go ground services, having a closed door on the left, door on the right, forward cargo, left cargo, and we remove the stairs as well. Okay, so as you can see, the cargo doors immediately open again. So now they're off, and then probably there you go, they go open. So this is managed by GSX, which reminds me, we could have gone here and left everything managed by GSX, but at this moment I'm glad we didn't, because it would now start pushing us back all of a sudden, and I don't want it. We said load sheet, so load aircraft, let's see. Let me just do instant. This boarding is already completed, right? And it says here sent to MCDU. That could actually be interesting. So let's just do that. It says success. That's looking pretty cool. Okay. So block fuel 6.6. I do want to check the OFP because we looked at it a little bit. So the we got cost index 40, cruising 370, it's a step climb. So first initial cruising level is 240. And then the fuel, so block fuel will be 6.6, final reserves 2.5. So 6.6, and the final reserves, I'm not sure, final time, final slash time, not really sure if this now should be 2.5. It doesn't hurt if we leave it like this, so for now I'm going to leave it like this. And yeah, it should be okay. Okay, so we got the fuel on board. Let's start up the APU. We can arm the, we turn on the seatbelt sign and the no smoking sign. And let's also turn on the beacon, because we will be starting our engines soon. We'll also open up the fuel pumps. Fenix or ground services, we can So let's wait until the APU is actually running. Flap open, so it is not running yet, starting up now. As you can hear, beautiful sound. You can also see that the aircraft still does not have hydraulics. You can tell by the tail rudders being all the way to the right. So that's the flap that's open. Alright. APU available. And it actually does want to push it back. That's also interesting. And we just carry on. Turn on the APU bleed.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Alright, we're very impressed. So they're going to do their thing. So let's see, everything's pulling away. All these little doors there are closed as well. That's something we definitely want. And then departure performance.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
So we have the runway 26. Think load sheet. So these are final load sheet. And we think the weather. Just calculate. And let's just be a little bit lazy. Just send it to the MCDU. But let's have a look at it. So see airport elevations 272. The current QNH should be 1016. Wind 27090 knots. The runway 26. And then based on this it calculates and it gives us V1 speed of 124 knots, rotate at 124, V2 127. Transition altitude will be 5,000 feet and the thrust reduction and acceleration altitude will be 1780 feet. So basically you can already tell we're basically at, what is it, it should usually be like 1500, so we're like at, how much is it? 60, 70, so like 280 feet above sea level. So if we press our little B button here, see that we're sort of there around that area. We're not going to answer the pushback request yet. So these will be our V speeds, so V1 rotate V2, and then flaps 1, and flex takeoff temperature will be 59. If we just say send to MCDU, then we're like super lazy, but it will be in here. If we go to the perf page, we should see the takeoff information, so V speed V1 124, rotate 124, V2 127, 5,000 feet 1770, thrust reduction acceleration altitude, and flaps 1, flex takeoff temperature 59 degrees. So then we should actually be ready, although we do need squawk code and the direction for the nose of the aircraft. So let's close the door now. And we locked. We'll reset the radar, so I'm not sure if that does anything now. We can set our cruising altitude to 370. We turn on constraints. Do that on both sides. And we're pretty much set up there. I also do want a squawk code. And from standby we go to auto. And this should be okay. Right, so where the hell are we going? Runway 26 is our departing runway. So let's have a look at the airport overview here at Jersey. Runway 26 that direction. So we push back the nose to the left. And we get out on whatever this is, Alpha. And we get there, super simple. So what we do need to do is push back the nose to the left. So that's what we'll need to let GSX know. So continue pushback. So So nose to the left.
Release parking brakes, please.
So parking brake. Release.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright. So starting the engine really simple. Engine number 2. And this is the N2. Coming alive. And we do not need to add fuel. That's all happening automatically. Noble steering, there's TCAS standby company message. So the company message will just be our final load sheet. Our zero fuel weight, takeoff weight, passengers, it's all on here, let's just accept it. I'm good for now. So that's engine number 2 started. HT is dropping, engine number 1.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
The message we can ignore again. We're waiting confirmation good engine start, so we'll just have to sit this one out. So runway 26, our departure route. This all looks very simple. SKERY 2B. So basically we take a left into heading 319 degrees, which is also outbound radial, I guess, for Jersey VOR. Taking us to D20 Jersey at 5,000 feet. So basically it's just a left turn, and then we can turn on the autopilot. Let's confirm good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
That looks a bit weird, but okay.
Assist you with life jackets for children. Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open, and seatbelt fastened. Further information regarding your safety on board can be found in the in-flight magazine. We hope you have a great flight.
I'm not sure what the hell is going on here. Look at this, man.
TOJAQ disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
That looks absolutely horrible.
Left is clear.
There's another aircraft. Sure, man. Let's have a look at this. If you want something like this, you're not going to get it. So you could see the EGJJ being driven by Max Verstappen. So let's go back inside. There's no clue what to make out of all of that. So let's see. We are on the ground spoilers. Flaps go to 1. And the auto brake go to max. So did she already wave at us? Was not paying attention. And now she just walks through that aircraft. Okay. Through that ground vehicle. So yeah, let's see if we can get out of here. It's looking a little bit funny. Protective windshield is still off. That's a good reminder. Right, so parking brake released. And let's turn on the taxi lights. And the runway turn off lights too. We can turn off the APU. We can also turn off the APU bleed. So we got the packs running now. I believe the packs should be off for departure. Not sure if it says here packs off for departure. Okay, that looks painful to watch, so let's not do that. Oh yeah, this is the aircraft that you need to be very careful, because it does not sort of want to let go of the direction that you're asking it. So you have to let go early, and it's sort of work out where you think it will stop the turning the nose. It's a little bit weird. It is doable, but it's also very easy to forget. That is also very doable. And it can cause sometimes a little bit of mild frustration. I mean, you know, you think about it, these are all first world problems, right? So I think that's our cabin crew reporting ready. So let's check in with them. Hello.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Okay, thank you. Hey, how are you doing, Peter G? Jersey seems big. Thought it was tiny. Oh, really? Well, here it is. I think it's tiny, but I guess that's it can go both ways, right? It's not an airport I'm very familiar with, so I take it you have never been there yourself, just like me. I have never been there. But I heard the approach would be really impressive. Right, so the taxi route out is basically very simple. When you look at the chart, you're like, oh, and then when you see it here, you're like, oh, okay, you know, it's super simple. It's nothing. But sometimes these names can get a little bit confusing. Right, so ground speed is about 21, or are we actually over 30 now? 23. Yes, it's a beautiful livery, Peter. I totally agree with you. And I believe that actually comes with the package when you buy the Fenix Airbus A320. I believe this was one of the liveries that's in the standard package. It's really cool. We'll look at it a little bit more after we're airborne. We'll have a little bit more time and opportunity. Right now, looking outside and inside, just we're going to drive over some turtles accidentally, and the last thing I would want to do to those poor little creatures. Alright, so we are arriving at our runway. Camera crew, take your seats for departure. Almost said take your seat for landing there. Let's turn on the landing lights. Towards Delaware, let's see. I hate this zooming in, man. In the meantime, we're just crashing into something. Alright, let's get this thing lined up. We'll do a really quick takeoff config test, and then our personal little sanity check, see if everything's okay. Like the packs, I believe they're not on the checklist. I mean, they are on the checklist, but we don't see them here on the quick checklist. So things like that, that's what you get when you do it like sort of from memory a little bit. Right, so here is the runway in position. So let's set our parking brake. We got the ground spotters armed, flaps 1, and let's go TARA on the TCAS. And we have the auto brake to max. Let's turn off the packs for takeoff. Let's not forget to turn them on after the departure. I've done that a couple of times and then basically everything went alright. Auto brake max signs are on, cabin ready, spotters armed, flaps to takeoff, takeoff config test. So I think that should be it. Takeoff config is not crying, then neither are we. Now it's always a little bit challenging the throttle with my setup, but we'll see how this goes. One more thing, we need to turn on the strobe. And I think that's about as visible as we can get now. Let's have another look. The setting sun and our beautiful VATRY livery here. I really like these old styles of liveries, you know. Alright, so let's not foot any more pussy. So where the hell was the run? There you go. So parking brake released. Then we can just go to flex MCT. And that looks to be in. So the V1 speed was 127, I believe. No, 124, 124, 127. So it's been a while since I flew the Airbus A320, or at least successfully. But I've flown it a lot in the past. Okay, it's a little bit of a late takeoff, but here we are. Gear up, we have positive right. Now we're standing by for a right turn. We've been flying so many Boeings lately that basically I've become more like Boeing minded. A very short runway, yes indeed. Let's have a look. Yeah, that sense it is a tiny airfield, I agree. And this is a wrong timing for my controller to stop operating. Alright, so what we're looking at, thrust levers to climb. Autopilot engaged. So we got 81, 1 FT2, auto thrust, climb and nav. So we're going to take a right turn shortly. Our speed is a little bit low there, so we're good with our flaps out, I think. So here comes the turn to the right. We can increase our range now, especially since we're flying on autopilot. So let's turn on the packs first. We can turn off the nose wheel steering light and the runway turn off light as well. So on our way to Guru VOR, let's go to the flight map page. So 5,000 feet was the transition altitude. So transition altitude, you can see QNH starts to flash, and we, for standard, we'll have to do it on both sides in this simulator, which is not too bad really, you know. Let's get the external view like this, and maybe let's choose the side that's facing the sun first. It was an interesting comment by Peter. I totally agree, this is a totally awesome livery. I really like these old school liveries. And there's some other liveries I fly on the channel sometimes, like an old, like a Delta Delta Airlines livery, which also really old school, and also like the old the old American Airlines. So there's our passengers. Alright, let's get back to the flight deck and stay on top of things. So we're holding 5,000 now until we until we cross GOR. So see, ground spotters arms, and we can disarm them. How about our flaps? They should have been up long ago. So my apologies for that. Staying overspeed. Let's get some speed brakes out. Yeah, so that's my bad. Was not paying too much attention there. And especially with the Airbus, it's like a different kind of flow, so basically I should just be totally focused. But at the same time, it's also nice to just chill a little bit, you know. And so it's not the end of the world. It's all good. I'm enjoying this. Hope you are too. So the seatbelt sign is still on, and we'll leave that on for a bit. No smoking, we'll leave that on the entire flight. The landing lights are still on. We have company message. Let's at least clear that out. So where do we go? MCDU menu. The ATSU and the AOC menu, and then there's the received messages. So viewed, we just did not view this load sheet. Let's just accept it. I don't think it really matters very much. And at least we tidied that all up. Alright. Alright, so what we're looking at. So we're still at 5,000 feet. What's the flight plan 10 Lingus? So now that we're flying over GOR VOR, there you go, you could just see turn, and we should start climbing now. Hey, you know, in real life sometimes it will just clear you know, you can, they probably have said, you know, basically to skip GOR or something, just go direct SKERY or whatever, which means you can then also sometimes climb, but they will also say that. Right, so we are at standard pressure now, about 5,000 feet, we're now climbing. Let's keep the passengers strapped in. As you can see, our nose up position is a little bit over, I don't know, what is this, 10, 11 degrees. So they're just sitting in there waiting patiently until they can go to the toilet, and they can go to the back of the plane, to the right. Some might jump out all of a sudden, you know. Crazy stuff happens, you know. People are looking for their llama, you know. They were traveling with a llama, and then that is gone all of a sudden, and everybody says no, and I didn't see a llama. And I'm thinking, how the hell can you miss a llama on an airplane? You know, something that big on an airplane, you should see. But so sometimes there's more going on than the passengers might let on, you know. But you know, that's just part of everyday life, isn't it? And it's part of the job. And it's up to us to get the whole madness from A to B. And what happens in between stays in between. You know what I mean? Right, so 11,000 feet, so the nose has dropped. I'm obviously multitasking at the moment. There's a little bit of other things to do here. Okay, so 11,000. Let's turn off the landing lights. And the seatbelt signs as well. Pretty sweet. So let's check the runway length. Peter saying 5,500 feet. There we go. It says 5,600. Yeah, that's about it. 5594. So that's definitely not a very long runway at all. So it looks like everything so far is going fine. We're not 10 minutes into the flight. So can we see where our top of descent will be? I believe we should. Top of climb is at 1846. So it's in about 16 minutes. And the top of descent will be 1905. So it's in about 35 minutes from now. So quite a short flight, this one. And I love what I always did in the old days with the nose of the aircraft. Always had some sort of pointy element to it, making it look a little bit more pointy and nose-like or something. It was really cool. Man, that sure is noisy. And you know, I used to fly the Airbus quite a lot on the channel, really. This has been basically the aircraft that I always felt most confident in. And since I've been flying the PMG 737, 700 and 600 and the 777, I've flown them so much that I've sort of almost, well, unlearned is a big word, but in terms of flow, you know, and like confidence-wise, like, oh, then you do this, then you do that. That has definitely changed a little bit, which totally okay. I like it. I like flying these things and getting reacquainted and acquainted and everything in between. So flight level 240 now. Right, so as the aircraft keeps on climbing, I will get a new IC from the galley. So I will be back in 2 shakes of 1 llama sail. Back inside. 26,000 seats. What I really like about the Boeing, I believe you just can say, see here, I believe you're on your way to FIMCA, or yeah, I believe that, or you can see both. And in this aircraft, it will always keep the previous waypoint. That's also not bad, I guess, you know, it's just different. So we're now on the leg MWIP FIMCA. There is something to be said about that, I think, because then at least you are referring to a position as coming from somewhere. Does that make any sense to you? So I do see some logic in that. Like you sort of know where you're coming from rather than, I don't know. Probably cannot explain it, but this seems to make sense for like a awareness kind of thing. So that's it, FIMCA in white, so that's what we're on our way to. That's 3.4 nautical miles. We arrived at 1837. FIMCA, TOJAQ, and then there's the top of climb. And we should be able then to see the top of descent was 1904. It's in about 25 minutes, I guess, something like that. So we could maybe set up for the approach. Most of it has really actually been set up when we were doing the planning of the project of the FMC, of the MCDU. So VATRY, NEVRI, ABSUN, and then from ABSUN this is basically just, at ABSUN we'll just turn on the localizer. Go ABSUN. Go down one more to ABSUN, and then this will just take us straight to the runway. And this circle there is where the glide slope will start to take us down to 2,000 feet. So just first keep on climbing before we set the descent altitude. So I keep thinking I'm forgetting a whole bunch of things. All kinds of things. Maybe I am. So do they have a flight checklist in here? I believe they might have. Exterior walk around cockpit preparation. That's it. Preparation, that's all. Okay. a very long flight, as you can see. Alright, so let's get the chart. So we have the ILS frequency 108.1 at 037 degrees, 1081. This should appear automatically in the RADNAV page. It's already there, 108.1. And 036 is something I see. I noticed this earlier as well. It says 036 while the chart says 037. I don't know why that is. Too common. It happens too often to just be something, I don't know, like, well, obviously not totally random, but I don't know why it's doing that. Performance page. Here we have our climb section. Cost takes 40. Active mode is managed. So we're at managed climb. That's the bottom, the dot right there. 2370. Distance 25 miles. You can see engine 45. That's a couple of more minutes. The next phase then would be the cruising stage. So we got the speed 340 knots or 0.79 max. To top of descent, 163 miles. 1904. And the descent page. So approach. We can fill out some data here. Phoenix, my flight. So this is the weather at our arrival. Issued 1720. Then 1820 is what we get now. 030 degrees at 6 knots, 10 kilometers. MCD. It's like a type of cloud. Not very sure. 14 degrees, 1018. Can we say anything here? No. So QNH 1018. Let's look at that. So 1018. We can just at least we'll put something in now. We'll have to do this again later. The temperature was 14. 14, please, not 1. Oh, the 4 didn't take. See, it changes the arrow. Not sure if you can see that from home, but changes. There you go. 1, 4. By the time the weather is already turned winter. 030 6 knots. This looks totally different. 030 at 6 knots. Transition flight level 065, so let's have a look. Transition altitude 6,000 feet. Let's keep it 065, it's fine. We'll change it a little bit earlier. Currently our final approach speed would be 135 knots. Now let's see the minimums. We can put in 200 feet radio altitude. 200. It's nice that you can just type it in. You put it on radio. Destination estimated fuel on board below minimum. Why is that? Go to the progress page. Doesn't really say it here, does it? Fuel prediction page. It makes sense, I think. At Echo Golf Alpha Charlie at 1926, estimated fuel on board will be 3.8. Apparently that's below the minimum. I know there's rules for that, I don't know them. So what's the fuel page? The fuel flow looks quite decent, I guess. Another company message. What's that telling us? No ATC required. Should be at our cruising altitude now. I'm not particularly happy about the estimated fuel on board warning. We'll probably still get that. But yeah, basically you'll need a minimum amount, upon landing you will always need a minimum amount of fuel on board. And fuel prediction now at 3.7. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would think that would be enough, but it appears not to be. So that's all good. We're not doing anything with the radio stacks, but it's always nice to at least set it up correctly. And I believe it's like this. So the pilot monitoring is also listening to the VHF2. To both the VHF1 and 2, and but it's transmitting on VHF1, which usually you will see either the captain operating the aircraft and the co-pilot communicating. And that's the setup for that. Looks like my controller stopped working, so I need to get new batteries. We'll keep on working for a little bit, but let's hope this not happens on final approach. A320. That's still the latest weather. Hopefully 1850 was a new weather report. So from PENWU to NICXI. It's 21 miles, 20 miles left. So the top of descent is right there, and we could see that in the perf page. Next page to descent. No, it should be on the cruise side. Wait. There you go, yeah, to top of descent. 1906, distance 91 nautical miles. Cool, we're flying the Airbus again. And you know, maybe it's also interesting to just do a whole bunch of Airbus flights in a row, you know, to get reacquainted with it. As I said, I've been very much Boeing minded lately, which was interesting because when I was flying FSX and FS 2002 or 2004 or both, I don't really remember. I would always fly the Boeing 737-800, but they were nothing as advanced as these. I didn't even have payware aircraft back then, you know, they were just like simple, one-dimensional, really. It was a good stepping stone. It's interesting to learn the first things about ILS and waypoints and all that. But then for me, when FS 2020 came along, that just changed a whole lot of things, you know. And in a very cool way, it's an amazing simulator. It's really, really cool. Okay, so the time is now 1854, so let's see if the weather updates to 1850. And it does. 080 at 5 knots. Visibility 10. 14 degrees 1018. descents in about 5 minutes or so, I guess. 1906. That's 10 minutes. So like, for example, the first place I'm looking now to see if we get all our landing information is here. That is not showing, I mean, it's not the same as the Airbus. Oh, sorry, the Airbus is not the same as the Boeing, obviously. The Boeing, you'll have your ILS frequency and the final approach course. You have your V speeds right here. You'll have your radio altitude right here. Obviously, in the Airbus it's different. It's totally different, different animal, totally different design. Very straightforward approach, really. Look at that. We're just going to descend, and that's it. So 37,000 feet. Interesting thing, we tried this with the MD-11. Like in Boeing, when you're on the vertical navigation, then in the Boeing you will set the altitude that you want to descend to. 2,000 feet. Now I'm curious if we do this and now go, if you choose the up arrow, let's zoom in into it. Obviously the arrow will not be bigger, but if you zoom, if you click the up arrow, you will push the button. That should give the little dot next to it, right? And that means it's in managed climb or managed descent. So I'm figuring, if we put in 2,000 now that we're at cruising altitude, and we're not overflying the top of descent just yet, will it start to go nose down? I know for certain when we pull it, so I'm not doing that. When you pull it, it will go to open descent. That's not what we're going to do. But I'm curious if I do this, will it do anything, or will it just arm it? And it's descending, so we're not going to do that. So how do we stop this? I guess all we can do is just put it back to the cruise. 37,000. Otherwise we're just starting our descent. But yeah, I need to find out, I need to know. So let's get back to 37,000. And then once we're back at 37, we'll almost start our descent in about 5 minutes. Then I'll set it again to 2,000 feet. But first it needs to be out of the climbing mode, like it's now on start. So on start. So we'll let her settle or level off, and then we'll set 2,000 feet. My hope would be that once we fly over that arrow, our top of the descent will start going down. I don't think it will. So let's experiment, and if it doesn't, we'll just pull the little button, or push it actually, and we'll go down. So we're at 37,000, so we should safely be able to change the value in the window. So we're going to 2,000 feet, but we're not doing anything. It's just sitting there chilling, okay? So we just leave it for now. We are managed speed mode with the dot and the 3 dashes. And the same for the lateral navigation, the heading. So we're holding altitude now. Now the top of descent should start counting down. Destination, estimated fuel on board below minimum. Yes, we already saw that, but we're totally ignoring that today. So top of descent coming up. That will be 129 nautical miles. You see... No, that's something else. That's the 2,000 feet. Let's go previous page. confirm approach phase. No. No. Let's go. Let's just get out of there for a second. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, like, I've been so much Airbus, Boeing minded. It's like, oh yeah, what was the aircraft that I learned all this stuff in, how does that work again? Because learning in the Airbus really helped me learn how to fly with the Boeings, you know? And then now I've been flying so many Boeings, I'm like, how the hell does this work again? It's funny, interesting little, like, development. So, performance page, we have now, this is descent. Oh, this is activate approach phase, what I clicked earlier. Obviously, that's totally stupid. Next phase would just be the approach. Well, actually, not on the page. We have our latest weather. Let's just update that. So 0805 knots, 14 degrees, 1018, that hasn't changed. But 080 at 5 knots, that has 080 at 5 knots. That will change. Our runway is 04. So we'll have a little bit of a head/crosswind. It's only 5 knots, it's totally negligible. 1018 and temperature 14 degrees. Transition altitude 6,000 feet. The aircraft will start beeping at us at 6,500. I decided to just leave it in there. Doesn't matter if we change over a little bit early, so I guess that's okay. So yeah, curious to see double descent, what will happen. I think nothing will happen. I think really in the Airbus you have to just do it yourself. So we'll see how this is going to work out. But very straightforward, basically straight in approach that we're having. So there's no acrobatics required. There's a beautiful little Airbus with the retro livery, the setting sun. Very pretty indeed. And I totally love what they used to do in the old days with the front of the aircraft. No, made them look sharper than they are, and I really like it. It looks fast, speedy, 70s style. Let's get back inside, stay on top of things. So Dublin ZOR is up next, but first we'll start descending. And I believe we cannot pre-dial the QNH as we can in the A380 and all the Boeings. You can just pre-dial already, which is super handy. Don't understand why you cannot, unless I'm missing something, but I don't think you can. What you could do is, for instance, say 1014 and then go back to standard. But it's a bit lame. You don't want to mess with those things, right? But this was a short difference, so that's okay. Then landing data. Basically, we should already actually have everything. Interesting thing, let's have a look at the first page and we go to the next phase, that's the approach phase. So these are the data we're working with now. That means that we have a final approach speed with full flaps of 135 knots. And I don't think the Airbus puts in 135 knots at that point in the legs page, on the flight plan page in case of the Airbus. So let's look at that. It is saying 137 at the airport there in the final fix 04. Let's check that one. feet. Could maybe set it there as well. So let's say 135 and then /. We do not want to change what comes after the slash, only in front of it. So / and final fix 04. Let's see if it accepts. Looks like it, so we insert. Speed error makes sense because Yeah, it wants us to change the runway first, I guess. I guess that makes sense. So 135 / let's try this again. So now we're changing the speed of the runway. Do remember, I was trying this before as well, and that didn't work. You just go to the, not sure if you can do it from here. I'm giving up, it's okay. We can take over the speed ourselves. Speed control if you want. So the speed error now, so let's put that back where it was. I believe it was 138. Let's see, where are we? This actually was, yeah, I'm not really sure, man. Try 138, see if it accepts it. No, nothing wrong with flying, there you go. Unless then it will start whining and saying, hey man, you still have an error. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I think we've overflown our top of descent. We're not descending, so try to go manage the descent. So now in descent stage, thrust levers go to idle. Not the levers themselves, this is the fly-by-wire, so they stay. The thrust levers stay and climb the descent. But you can see the engines are going to idle. As you can notice, you can hear that outside as well. Okay, so it was saying more drag. Let's have a look at our speed. Let's just do that. Get our speed brakes out. And let me also start recording the descent so that I can later maybe make a little video of the landing. And if I'm not mistaken, the little squiggly arrow that you see there, the blue squiggly arrow right in front of the aircraft, I believe this is meaning that you have now your speed brakes deployed. And by the time, this is basically once we get there, this little green dot, which is our vertical descent profile, should then be in the middle. So basically this is telling us that we're getting closer to where we should be on the vertical profile basically. And those are the really small things that you have to fly just these aircraft like so many times in a row, like I did now with all the Boeings. There you go. Green dot is coming up there. That's interesting because that also means we have sort of an indicator. So let's retract our speed brakes. So it looks like we're a little bit below the profile now, which is perfectly fine, I don't mind. Our speed is 320, and what should our speed be? 0.79 on Mach from VATRY to Dublin, 313 knots. Yeah, that's good. It's decelerating there a little bit. Now I guess we're sort of back on profile. There's not a lot of waypoints left. We got the Dublin VOR coming, NEVRI, ABSUN, and that's basically the ABSUN. After ABSUN, we can turn on our localizer. So the plan page, you can see this. So Dublin VOR coming up, NEVRI, ABSUN, and then as you can see, ABSUN is right on the extended central line. So once we reach ABSUN, we'll take a right turn and we'll turn on the localizer, and hopefully we get a successful touchdown. And no matter what happens, we will always land. Either voluntarily or involuntarily. Nice looking Liberty. I also have an old UPS delivery for the ND11. Just looking just beautiful. My apologies. The time 1911. So any new weather updates would be at 1920, most likely. Let's just refresh. So nothing changed yet. So we'll go with this weather. Position altitude is 6,000 feet. Now 19,000. And expected to arrive at 1926. So maybe it's time we strap in our passengers. What do you think? People sign on. Well, let's also start up the APU. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have started our descent to Belfast City Airport. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. We're expected to arrive in about 14 minutes. The temperature will be 14 degrees, and we'll have, I think, pretty much clear skies. And there's not a lot of wind. And we just want to thank you for flying. You're totally awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So I think we sold our souls to the devil there for the 1000th time. We're no longer impressed with those things, are we? Alright, so let's get our butts into gear. On our way to NEVRI, 17.7 miles with 16,700 feet and aiming for speed 296. We're right on the money. So the APU is starting up. APU is already available. We don't need it now, but then at least we have it. The engine start switch should be at ignition start. We're not going to arm the ground spoilers just yet. We'll do that on final approach. We're now 54 minutes into the flight. I think we actually made quite good time, because I think the flight time was supposed to be 1 hour and 21 minutes. I think we'll land, we should land well before that. 1926, so that's 12 minutes. Since we're descending, let's also set the auto brake. Let's go auto brake, let's go medium. So we have the local QNH, but we could check one more time after 1920, when hopefully the latest weather report will be issued. Looks like we're still nicely on the descent profile. That's always a good thing to keep checking. So yeah, curious to see how the aircraft is going to perform, and even more so the pilot. What's interesting with the Airbus, you can turn on the LS button and you see there is landing data appearing down here. Turn it on, turn it off, there you go. So this for the glide slope, this for the localizer. It is not the same as turning on the localizer. Basically the LS is usually always on, I think, if you would call it that in the Boeing, for instance. You always have the frequency here and everything. But we can turn it on, like, if we want to, like on demand. It's an interesting feature, I think. Let's also turn it on for the pilot monitoring. So it looks like still a daytime landing. Or a daytime crash, it's whichever is going to be the outcome. So there's the point, that circle, that's where the glide slope will take us down at 2,000 feet. Plus leave it idle. So what's it doing now? I think this is hitting an altitude constraint, maybe. Let's check NEVRI in 1.1 miles. Should be flight level 107. Then flight level 100. ABSUN 069. We'll see how she gets through it. We're a little bit below on the profile, so that's good. We're still at standard QNH. And NEVRI is passed now. We're now on our way to ABSUN. And as we said, once we reach ABSUN, we can turn on the localized. I guess we can turn it on now. Doesn't really matter. It's just armed. There you can see blue, so it's armed. But we're getting close to ABSUN, and that's right on the center line. So 10,000 feet coming up. Let me, before we do anything, quickly reset my controller because the batteries are running out. And I do not, it was already flashing, and I do not want to start doing that on final approach, quite obviously. Landing lights on, 10,000 feet. So on our way to ABSUN, 8 nautical miles, speed 250 and 6,900 feet. We're already a little bit low, so that's fine. We do not have a DME yet. We do have 108.10 for the ILS frequency, but there's no DME readout just yet. But we can expect it very shortly. We do have the identifier, India Hotel Bravo Delta. So now 58 minutes into the flight, and we're almost on approach, or on final approach. Localizer still blue and armed. Thrust levers are going to idle. So this is just the Airbus managing the speed for us. Very convenient. ABSUN coming up, 2.7 miles, and then there will be a turn to the right. Now it's saying we're a little bit high. I will just immediately deploy the speed brakes. And that appears to be working out for us. So turning to the right, let's retract the speed brake. Localizer still armed, not captured. We are now, there you go. Localizer captured at 24 nautical miles. So next event should be then, let's get some speed brakes out again. Should be the glide slope. That starts at 2,000 feet. I believe that might be our runway. Let's turn on the runway turn off lights. The nose wheel steering lights too. And let's go to local pressure. 1014. 1014 on both sides. Let's retract the speed brake. Range is now 19 miles. For some reason we do not see the glide slope indicator thingy just yet. Usually you will see it like somewhere above. I'm not really sure if we should worry about this now. As long as we keep going down for now, it should be good. There it is. There is the diamond. Let's go flap 1. Our range is now 15.5 nautical miles. So the little diamond is there. So we're below the glide slope. So we are on the approach. Let's capture category 3 single. We can turn on AP2 as well. And then sometimes we can make a dual like it is now. And that would could help you out if you want to do an auto landing, I believe. Flap 2 speed coming up. Go flaps 2. Overspeeding a little bit now, so maybe it was a little bit fast. Range 13.2 nautical miles. So let's arm the ground spoilers for landing. And we got our auto brakes set to medium. So after landing, where do we exit the runway? So landing runway 04. Will we either just backtrack, which is probably going to be the case, and then it's on the left, or it's on the right if we're hit right. Flap 3, 11.2 miles. So 10 more miles. Go. So speed now a little below 160 and should be 138 once we reach the final approach fix. FF04. Range now 8.8 nautical miles. Speed 150. Miles, I think it's okay. Let's extend our landing gear. Gonna go flaps 4. That's flaps 4. Let me alert the cabin crew. Cabin crew, please take your seats for landing. No, we can leave that on actually. Yeah. Alright. So we're pretty much configured here. Let's check what's the final approach speed now. 135, it hasn't changed. And do we have a weather update? .0604 knots, QNH 018, that hasn't changed. So 060, that's our wind, 4 knots. Oh, that's coming from the right, that'll be fine. The beautiful livery and the setting sun. Aircraft completely configured. Alright, so standing by to take over the autopilot, and then we'll start head flying the final leg of the approach. So, autopilot disengaged. I would like a little bit more. There you go. And in the end, ILS is ILS, right? You're flying it. So as long as the aircraft is configured before we start doing this, then we're in a good position. You just follow the vertical path. Getting a little bit low. So this is now altitude 200 feet. As you can see, we have a very clear visual of the runway.
100 above.
Means we're at 300 feet.
Minimum.
Continue. Standing by to go idle
100.
thrust.
50, 40,
Idle.
30,
Land.
20, retard.
And there is our nose gear touchdown. Full reverse. Not sure if it's doing it, I don't hear anything. But we don't need it anymore. The medium brakes helped a lot. Let's keep it rolling. We'll have to backtrack because there's no runway or no taxiway on the either side of the runway here. So welcome to Belfast, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Let's taxi back now over the runway. So I guess all in all successful. It was interesting that we got the estimated fuel on board not sufficient warning, but obviously we do have still a lot of fuel, but there's minimums for that, and it looks like we didn't make that. I'm not really sure why. It could have something to do with the flight plan change, but I believe I made an entire new flight plan. Maybe I didn't. Doesn't matter. We made it. I saw the message and figured, well, we can still make it. It's just our boss is just going to be very upset with us. But that's for us to deal with, isn't it? If you don't like the effects, don't produce the cause. You know, we're just a biological speculation sitting here vibrating, and we don't know what we're vibrating about. Let's just check George Clinton. Interesting lyrics. And since I am your personal funky sympathist, you can take that from me. That's some funky shit there. Well, I have definitely seen busier airports, I will not lie. So let's just settle down here to the left, and we're good. Alright, parking brake. Set. So yeah, once again, welcome back, or welcome to Belfast. Please do not drive through my aircraft. Well, why would you do that? You have all this space. Should you really drive through other people's aircraft? What good has ever come from that, my friend? Some people never learn. Right, man. Looks like we made it down alive. Still daylight. There's a beautiful livery. The Lingus old school retro livery on a modern airliner. A funky combination for sure. And yeah, man, thank you very much for checking. It's always appreciated. Peter, thank you for saying hi. Absolutely appreciate it as well. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay funky, people. See you in the next video. Bye bye.